Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a really fascinating personal story about global ambition. But more than that, we're going to use it to pull out a strategic framework for your career. We're talking about visibility and why just working hard, well, it isn't going to cut it anymore. So let's kick things off with this classic quote from Dale Carnegie. He says we're dealing with creatures of emotion, not logic. And this is so important for what we're talking about today. Because in the corporate world, your success isn't just about spreadsheets and code. It's about how you connect with and, influence the people around you. And right here, this is the heart of the problem. This is the belief that trips up so many talented people. You think, hey, if I just put my head down and do amazing work, someone's going to notice. But the truth is, what's called quiet competence can actually hold you back. It feels humble, but it's not a strategy for getting ahead. Which brings us to our first section, the competence trap. So what does this trap actually look like? Well, to really get it, we're going to follow a real-world career journey and see exactly what it feels like to be stuck. Now, don't just think of this as a travel itinerary. This is really a career map stretching across 5 huge corporate hubs. Each one of these places taught a different lesson, but the big one was the difference between just working in your job and strategically positioning yourself for your next one. And this is where it gets really real. This slide captures that raw feeling of being in the competence trap. In Hong Kong, it was all-consuming. We're talking punishing hours, 1 a.m. nights, checking emails at 3 in the morning, but feeling like you're just spinning your wheels. It's that classic case where you're giving 110%, but you're not moving forward. Okay, so we've seen the problem up close. Let's move on to our second section, mapping your visibility. Turns out, that feeling of being stuck, it's actually a predictable career stage. And figuring out where you are on the map, well, that's the first step to getting out of the trap. So this brings us to something called the Pawn to Queen Visibility Framework. And that experience we just talked about, the burnout, feeling overlooked, that's what's known as stage 2, the awakening. This isn't about you failing. It's a totally normal, but really crucial turning point where you realize the old rulebook of just work hard doesn't work anymore. Okay, I love this slide because it just lays it all out so clearly. On the left, that's the pawn belief, where you're kind of just hoping someone notices you. And on the right, that's the active strategy. It's not about being arrogant. It's about shifting from waiting to be seen to actively owning your story and making sure people understand your value. Visibility isn't bragging. It's a responsibility. So now that we've got the diagnosis and we understand the mindset shift we need to make, let's get into our third section here, 2 strategic insights. Think of these as the powerful, actionable lessons that are basically the prescription for getting out of that competence trap. Okay, the first big insight is a total reframe. We have to stop thinking about networking as this kind of slimy, transactional thing we have to do. Instead, start looking at your professional relationships as the actual infrastructure, the foundation that your entire career is built on. So many of us fall into this trap where we only reach out to people when we need something, right? A job, an intro, some help with a project. But the strategic move is to build that infrastructure first. You build real alliances, genuine connections so that when an opportunity or a challenge pops up, you've already got a network of people who have your back. And this is just a perfect illustration of that point. A real connection made with a colleague, Alexis Fox, back in Chicago, wasn't just a friendship. Years down the line, she became a massive advocate, the one who pushed leadership to give the author a huge, career-changing opportunity in India. That right there is career infrastructure in action. All right, the second insight is just as big, maybe even bigger. It's all about how you can turn what feels like a problem, burnout, being totally overwhelmed, into a chance to strategically move yourself forward. So here's the play. Instead of going to your boss and just saying, I'm drowning, I need help, which, let's be honest, can sometimes be seen as a weakness, you reframe it. You turn it into a business case. The author didn't just ask for help, she actually proposed a whole strategic plan to migrate tasks to India. Suddenly, she's not just a person who's overwhelmed, she's a strategic problem solver. And get this is the crucial takeaway. The very thing that was causing all the burnout, this unmanageable workload, was turned into the exact catalyst that led to a major promotion to vice president. The challenge literally became leverage. I mean, that's the power of strategic positioning right there. Okay, so this all leads us to our final section, your next strategic move. Let's take everything we've talked about and boil it down into some practical things you can actually use in your own career, like right now. So, whether you're trying to get that next promotion, you're managing a team across different countries, or you're just feeling that burnout creeping in, these ideas apply. Stop just listing what you did. Start talking about your strategic impact. Don't just suffer in silence. Frame your burnout as a chance to make things better. These are the kinds of moves that get you noticed.
And that really brings us to the final and maybe most important question, one for you to really think about. Who are your advocates? Who's your Alexis Fox? And if you can't immediately name them, what's one small step you can take, maybe even this week, to start building that career infrastructure on purpose?
Because at the end of the day, being good at your job, being competent, it's not enough to get you where you want to go. In our careers, just like in a game of chess, your position on the board determines your next move. It's not enough to be a good piece. You have to make your move.